Listen closely. You are not tired. You are disorganized. You are not broken. You are drifting. The reason you fail is not a lack of talent. It is a lack of structure. Chaos is the enemy of greatness. Every time you negotiate with your alarm clock, every time you wait for inspiration to strike, you are betraying your own potential. Motivation is a fleeting emotion. Routine is a concrete fortress. Today, we stop hoping for a better life and we start building the machine that makes it inevitable. Welcome to the discipline that will save you.
Chapter 1. Feelings are the enemy of execution. Let's get one thing straight immediately. The biggest lie you have ever told yourself is the sentence, "I'll do it when I feel like it." That sentence is the architect of your failure. It is the reason you are stuck. It is the reason you are listening to this audiobook right now instead of living the life you know you are capable of living. You are waiting for a feeling. You are waiting for a spark. You are waiting for the clouds to part and a beam of divine motivation to strike you in the chest and make the hard work feel easy. I have news for you. That feeling is not coming. And if it does come, it will leave you just as fast. This is the trap of the amateur. The amateur believes that performance is a byproduct of inspiration. The amateur thinks that writers only write when the muse visits, that athletes only train when they are full of energy, and that entrepreneurs only build when they feel confident. This is a fantasy. You must understand the biology of your own mediocrity. Your brain is designed to keep you safe and comfortable. It is designed to conserve energy. When you look at a difficult task, a cold sales call, a heavy barbell, a blank page, your brain scans it and registers pain. It registers effort. And immediately, it sends a chemical signal to your body to stop. It creates a feeling of hesitation, fatigue, or anxiety. This is not a sign that you shouldn't do the work. This is just biology doing its job. The problem is, you are listening to it. You are treating a biological suggestion as a command. You have a choice. You can listen to the chemical signals of a primitive brain that wants you to sit on the couch and conserve calories, or you can override the system. That is the difference between the elite and the invisible. The elite have the exact same feelings you do. They feel fear, they feel doubt, they feel exhaustion, but they have trained themselves to view those feelings as irrelevant noise. Think about a surgeon. Imagine a trauma surgeon scrubbing in for a 12-hour heart transplant. Do you think for 1 second that surgeon asks herself if she feels like saving a life today? Do you think she checks in with her emotions to see if she's in the mood to handle a scalpel? Absolutely not. It doesn't matter if she is tired. It doesn't matter if she had a fight with her spouse. It doesn't matter if she is bored. There is a patient on the table. There is a protocol to follow. She steps into the room and she executes the procedure because the standard demands it. It's not about how she feels, it's about the discipline. Now think about a soldier in a trench. When the order comes to charge, does he sit back and negotiate with his fear? Does he wait until he feels inspired to move? No. He moves because he is trained. He moves because the mission is bigger than his internal state. You need to start treating your life with the same level of professional detachment. You are the soldier. Your daily tasks are the mission. Your feelings are just the weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's raining. But the mission does not change based on the weather.
Do it regardless of how you feel. Your feelings are irrelevant.
This is the core philosophy you must adopt if you want to build an unbreakable routine. You must separate yourself from your feelings. Most people think they are their feelings. If they feel sad, they act sad. If they feel lazy, they act lazy. This is a weak way to live. You are the executive of your mind. Your feelings are just employees. And frankly, most of the time, they are bad employees. They complain, they want to go home early, and they distract you from the work. Why are you letting the worst employees run the company? You don't need their permission. You don't need permission from your anxiety to make the phone call. You don't need permission from your fatigue to go to the gym. You act in spite of them. Here is the secret mechanism of the human mind that the successful know and the failures ignore. Action precedes emotion. You have it backward. You are waiting to feel good so you can act. But the truth is, you must act first to feel good. The confidence, the pride, the motivation, those are the rewards for taking action. They do not come before. They come after. When you drag yourself out of bed at 5 a.m., you feel terrible. Your body screams. Your mind bargains. That is the moment of truth. If you wait to feel ready, you will hit snooze. But if you stand up mechanically, robotically, and start moving, something shifts. 10 minutes into the run, the endorphins kick in. 20 minutes into the work session, the flow state arrives. You forced the feeling to change by changing your behavior. You dictated the terms. That's the key. Stop checking your internal temperature. Stop asking yourself, do I want to do this? The question itself is a trap. It implies that wanting is a requirement. It isn't. Nobody wants to struggle. Nobody wants to face rejection. Nobody wants to suffer. But the champion does it anyway, because the result is non-negotiable. This is called mechanical execution. From this day forward, I want you to practice mechanical execution. When you see a task on your list, you do not engage in a dialogue with your brain. You do not think about it. You do not weigh the pros and cons. You treat yourself like a machine. Input task, output action. There is no gap for feelings to enter.
If you hesitate, you lose. The gap between the thought and the action is where the devil lives. That gap is where your excuses are born. I'll do it in 5 minutes. I need a coffee first. I'm not in the right headspace. Kill the gap. Do it regardless of how you feel. When you operate this way, you become dangerous. You become unreliable to your enemies and undeniable to your goals. Think about your competition. They are relying on motivation. They are working hard only when the sun is shining. If you can learn to work when it is dark, when it is cold, and when you are empty, you will surpass them. Not because you are smarter, not because you are more talented, but because you are consistent. Consistency is the ultimate weapon, and you cannot be consistent if you are emotional. Emotions fluctuate, they are volatile. If your work ethic is tied to your volatility, your results will be volatile. To have a stable, ascending trajectory in life, you must decouple your output from your mood. Look at your life right now. Look at the projects you started and didn't finish. Look at the gym membership you haven't used. Look at the books you haven't read. Why did you stop? I will tell you why. You stopped because the excitement wore off. You stopped because it got hard, and when it got hard, it stopped feeling good. You trusted your feelings, and they led you off a cliff. Forgive yourself for the past, but do not tolerate it in the present. Today, you adopt a new identity.
You are a person of execution. You are a person who does the things they say they will do, specifically when they do not want to do them. That is the definition of character. Character is not how you act when things are going your way. Character is how you act when everything inside you wants to quit. It's not about comfort, it's about discipline. It's about looking at the unmade bed, the dirty dishes, the unfinished report, and attacking them with a savage indifference to your own comfort. You must become a master of the override. When the voice in your head says stop, you say go. When the voice says later, you say now. This will be painful at first. Your brain will fight you. It will scream like a toddler denied candy. Let it scream. You are the adult in the room. You are in charge. Every time you override your feelings, you grow stronger. You are callousing your mind. You are proving to yourself that you are not a slave to your biochemistry. Do it regardless of how you feel. Your feelings are irrelevant. Internalize this. Write it down. Put it on your wall. The next time you feel that resistance, recognize it for what it is, a test. It is a test of your resolve. Will you fold or will you execute? The world is full of people who are waiting to feel ready. They will die waiting. Don't join them. You have now identified the enemy. You know that your emotions are not your allies. They are saboteurs. You have learned to ignore the internal noise and act with mechanical precision. You have taken the first step toward an unbreakable mind. But once you start moving, you need rules. You need a code that keeps you on the path when the initial burst of energy fades. You need to understand that in this new life, there is no maybe. There is no try. You have silenced the emotions. Now we must set the iron laws that will govern your future.
Chapter 2. The Art of the Non-Negotiable. You are drowning in the gray area. That is your problem. You live your life in a foggy middle ground called maybe. Maybe I'll go to the gym. Maybe I'll eat clean today. Maybe I'll finish that project. Maybe is a poison. It is the language of the hesitant. It is the language of the coward. When you allow maybe into your vocabulary, you open the door to failure. You give yourself an out. You create a psychological escape hatch before you have even begun the mission. And because human beings are wired for comfort, if you leave that hatch open, you will take it every single time. To become unbreakable, you must eliminate the gray area. You must adopt a new operating system based on binary decision-making. In the world of computers, there is no ambiguity. There is only 1 and 0. On and off. True and false. A circuit is either closed or it is open. It cannot be sort of open. Your life must become binary. Did you do the work? Yes or no? Did you hit your macros? Yes or no? Did you wake up on time? Yes or no? There is no I tried. There is no I almost did it. There is no I'll make it up tomorrow. In a binary system, those are all zeros. Those are all failures. You need to stop patting yourself on the back for trying. Trying is just a polite way of failing. The universe does not reward you for the attempt, it rewards you for the completion. That's the key. You must draw a line in the sand that separates the person you used to be from the person you are becoming. That line is defined by your non-negotiables. A non-negotiable is exactly what it sounds like. It is a task, a standard, or a habit that is not up for discussion.
It happens regardless of the weather, regardless of your mood, regardless of your schedule, and regardless of your feelings. Negotiation is betrayal. Do not negotiate with yourself. Think about the psychology of a recovering addict. Let's look at an alcoholic who has been sober for 10 years. How does he stay sober? Does he wake up every morning and ask himself, should I have a drink today? Maybe just a small one. Maybe just a beer with dinner. No, he doesn't ask that question. The decision was made 10 years ago. He is a non-drinker. There is no debate. There is no choice to be made today because the choice is already locked in. If he allows himself to debate it, if he says just one drink won't hurt, he relapses. He falls back into chaos.
You are an addict, but you are not addicted to a substance. You are addicted to comfort. You are addicted to the path of least resistance. You are addicted to mediocrity. And just like the alcoholic, you cannot afford just one sip of laziness. When you skip the gym because you are too tired, that is a relapse. When you eat the junk food because it's a special occasion, that is a relapse. When you hit snooze, that is a relapse. You must treat your routine with the rigid sobriety of an addict fighting for their life. Because you are fighting for your life. You are fighting for the life you want against the life you currently settle for. The moment you start debating with yourself is the moment you lose. Picture this scenario. The alarm goes off at 5 a.m. It is dark. It is cold. Your bed is warm. Immediately, a voice in your head starts talking. It starts the negotiation. It's raining outside. You worked hard yesterday. You can go later in the afternoon. 5 more minutes won't hurt. This is the most dangerous moment of your day. If you engage with this voice, if you listen to its arguments, you will lose. You cannot win a debate with your own weakness. It is smarter than you. It knows all your insecurities. It knows exactly what to say to get you to stay in bed. So, how do you win? You don't debate. You don't negotiate. You act. Negotiation is betrayal. Do not negotiate with yourself. The non-negotiable implies that the decision has already been made. You decided last night that you are getting up. Therefore, this morning, there is no decision to make. You simply execute the script. When you remove the option of no, the action becomes automatic. Most people suffer from decision fatigue. They spend so much energy weighing the pros and cons of every little action that they are exhausted by noon. They stand in front of the fridge, wondering what to eat. They stare at their running shoes, wondering if they should run. This is a waste of mental RAM.
When you have non-negotiables, you are free. You don't have to think. You don't have to worry. You just do. You have a choice. You can continue to be a slave to your impulses, constantly fluctuating between high motivation and low energy, or you can build a structure of iron rules. I want you to pick 3 things today, only 3. These will be your non-negotiables. Maybe it is working out for 45 minutes. Maybe it is reading 10 pages. Maybe it is making 50 sales calls. Whatever they are, once you write them down, they become law. They are not goals. Goals are things we hope to achieve. These are mandates. If your non-negotiable is to write 500 words, you do not go to sleep until 500 words are written. If it's 11:55 p.m. and you haven't done it, guess what? You are staying up. You pay the price. It's not about convenience. It's about discipline. You might say, but life happens. Emergencies happen. Yes, genuine emergencies happen. If your house is on fire, handle it. But be honest with yourself. 99% of the reasons you break your routine are not emergencies. They are inconveniences. You didn't skip the workout because of an emergency. You skipped it because you had a long meeting and you felt drained. That is not a valid excuse in the world of the non-negotiable. When you uphold a non-negotiable standard, something powerful happens to your self-respect. Self-respect comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you will do something and then negotiate your way out of it, you are teaching your brain that you are a liar. You are teaching yourself that your word means nothing. Is it any wonder you lack confidence? You don't trust yourself because you have a track record of lying to yourself. But when you set a hard rule and you follow it, especially when it sucks, especially when you are tired, you begin to believe in your own power. You realize that you are the captain of the ship, not the passenger. Negotiation is betrayal. Do not negotiate with yourself. Stop looking for balance. Balance is a myth sold to you by people who are afraid of obsession. If you want to be average, go seek balance. If you want to be exceptional, seek the binary. In the binary world, there are no cheat days. A cheat day is just planned weakness. Why would you plan to be weak? Why would you schedule a relapse? Does a champion athlete schedule a day to forget their technique? Does a grandmaster chess player schedule a day to play like an idiot? No. The standard is the standard. You need to become rigid to become free. That sounds like a paradox, but it is the truth. The discipline of the non-negotiable frees you from the tyranny of your fluctuating emotions. It frees you from the guilt of procrastination. It frees you from the anxiety of should I or shouldn't I. You don't need their permission. You don't need your friends to understand why you aren't drinking tonight. You don't need your family to understand why you are waking up before dawn. They live in the gray area. They live in the world of maybe. You no longer live there. You live in the black and white. You live in the completed task. Look at your list of non-negotiables. This is your contract. Sign it in your mind. Break it and you break yourself. Keep it and you build the foundation of a giant. But be warned, once you stop negotiating, the difficulty creates friction. Your old self will fight back. The world will try to pull you back into comfort. It is not enough to simply have the rules. You must actively seek out the friction that tests them. You must learn to love the struggle that comes with the rigid path. You have stopped negotiating. Now it is time to escalate. It is time to stop avoiding discomfort and start hunting for it.
Chapter 3. Murder the Comfort Zone. Comfort is a slow death. It does not kill you all at once. It does not strike like a heart attack or a car crash. It is subtle. It seduces you. It whispers in your ear that you have done enough, that you deserve a break, that you should take the easy path. And slowly, day by day, year by year, it rots your potential from the inside out. Most people spend their entire lives worshiping at the altar of comfort. They buy softer beds, drive smoother cars, and seek easier jobs. They engineer their lives to eliminate every single ounce of struggle. They think they are winning. They think this is the point of life. They are wrong. They are not winning, they are decaying. You need to understand a fundamental biological truth. Organisms only grow in response to stress. Look at your muscles. If you put your arm in a cast and do not move it for 6 weeks, what happens? It does not stay the same. It shrinks. It atrophies. The body realizes the muscle is not being used. It realizes there is no demand placed upon it, and it dissolves the tissue to save energy.
Your mind works exactly the same way. If you do not stress your mind, if you do not expose it to difficulty, it atrophies. Your willpower shrinks. Your resilience evaporates. You become soft. And in a world that is harsh and unforgiving, being soft is a death sentence. You have a choice. You can continue to seek the path of least resistance and watch your mental strength dissolve, or you can declare war on comfort. You must stop trying to escape the struggle and start hunting for it. Seek the friction. If it is easy, it is wrong. This is the concept of progressive overload. In the weight room, you understand this perfectly. You know that if you lift the same 10-pound weight every day for 5 years, you will not get stronger. You will remain exactly as you are. To build muscle, you must increase the weight. You must push the muscle to the point of failure. You must tear the fibers so they can rebuild stronger.
Why do you think your character is any different? If your day is easy, if you encounter no resistance, if you solve no hard problems, you are lifting the 10-pound weight. You are wasting your time. You are maintaining a baseline of mediocrity. To build the unbreakable mind, you must apply progressive overload to your psychology. You must intentionally inject artificial adversity into your life. We live in a modern world that has removed almost all natural adversity. You don't have to hunt for food. You don't have to build your own shelter. You don't have to fight off predators. You are safe. You are temperature controlled. You are fed. This safety is dangerous. It makes you weak. Because the world isn't providing the struggle, you must manufacture it. Seek the friction. If it is easy, it is wrong. What does this look like? It means doing the thing that sucks, specifically because it sucks. Take the cold shower. This is not a cliché, it is a training ground. When you turn that handle to cold in the morning, every instinct in your body screams, no. Your brain begs for the warmth. Standing under that freezing water offers no physical benefit that you can't get elsewhere, but it offers a massive psychological benefit. It teaches your brain that you are in charge, not your comfort. It teaches you to stand in the face of physical misery and not flinch. It is a rep for your discipline muscle. It's not about hygiene, it's about discipline. But it goes beyond the physical. You must seek friction in your interactions. You are avoiding a difficult conversation with your boss, your spouse, or your business partner. Why? Because it will be awkward, because there might be conflict, because it's uncomfortable. Have the conversation. Pick up the phone and make the call you have been dreading for a week. Do it right now. That knot in your stomach? That is the friction. That is the weight on the bar. If you run from it, you get weaker. If you lean into it, you get stronger. You need to stop viewing pain as a stop sign. In modern society, we are taught that pain is bad. If you have a headache, take a pill. If you are sad, distract yourself. If you are tired, sleep. We treat discomfort like a disease. But for the elite, discomfort is data. It is information. When you feel resistance, that is a signal that you have found a growth opportunity. When you are sitting at your desk and you feel that urge to check your phone because the work is getting hard, that is the friction point. That is where the rep counts.
Most people quit the moment the friction starts. They do the easy work, and the second it gets complex, they check out. That's the key. The separation between the successful and the unsuccessful happens in the friction. If you only work when it flows easily, you are a hobbyist.
If you only lead when the team is happy, you are not a leader. You are a mascot. Real leadership, real production, and real growth happen when things go wrong. They happen when you are exhausted. They happen when the plan falls apart. You must train yourself to smile when the difficulty spikes. You must train yourself to say, "Good, this is where I get better." Seek the friction. If it is easy, it is wrong. Look at your daily routine. Is it optimized for efficiency, or is it optimized for ease? If you are taking the elevator instead of the stairs, you are choosing atrophy. If you are parking in the closest spot to the door, you are choosing atrophy. If you are delegating the hard tasks because you don't want to deal with the headache, you are choosing atrophy. You are robbing yourself of the opportunity to toughen your mind. You need to start looking for the hard way. When given two choices, blindly choose the harder one, not because it is more efficient, but because it calluses your mind. The Navy SEALs have a saying, "Everybody wants to be a frogman on a sunny day." It's easy to be disciplined when you have slept 8 hours and the sun is shining. But who are you when it's raining? Who are you when you haven't eaten? Who are you when you are sore? That is the version of you that matters. And you cannot build that version of you in the comfort zone. You have to murder the comfort zone. You have to drag it out back and put a bullet in it. You don't need their permission. People will think you are crazy. They will ask, "Why are you running in the rain? Why are you working on a Sunday? Why do you take cold showers?" They will tell you to relax. They will tell you to take it easy. They will say, "You work too hard." Do not listen to them. They are speaking from the couch. They are speaking from the grave of their own potential. They are trying to pull you back down to their level because your intensity makes them uncomfortable. Let them be uncomfortable. Seek the friction. If it is easy, it is wrong. Your goal is to become a person who is comfortable being uncomfortable. When you achieve that, you become unstoppable because there is no environment you cannot handle. There is no stress you cannot endure. If you lose your job, you won't panic because you are used to stress. If you face a health crisis, you won't crumble because you have trained your mind to handle pain. You are building armor, and armor is forged in fire, not in a warm bath. So look at your life today. Where are you soft? Where are you cutting corners? Stop it. Add weight to the bar. Have the hard talk. Take the cold shower. Do the extra hour of study. Lean into the burn. That burn is the feeling of weakness leaving your body. It's not about suffering. It's about evolution. You have now committed to the hard path. You have accepted that friction is necessary for growth. You have stopped negotiating and you have murdered your comfort zone. But to maintain this level of intensity, you need a stronghold. You need a specific time of day where you can build this mental armor before the world tries to strip it away from you. You need to conquer the clock before the enemy even wakes up.
Chapter 4. The 5 a.m. Architect. The sun is not up yet. The world is silent. Your phone is silent. The streets are empty. In this darkness, you have a decision to make that will define the rest of your day. Most people are asleep. They're unconscious, drifting in the comfort of their dreams. But you are awake. You are standing in the quiet, claiming the territory that belongs to the victor. This is the most critical hour of your life. This is the victory hour. If you lose the first hour of the day, you spend the rest of the day chasing it. You spend the rest of the day reacting. You spend the rest of the day on defense. To build an unbreakable routine, you must go on the offensive. You must strike first. Win the morning, win the war. Let's look at the average person. Let's look at the drifter. The drifter sets his alarm for 7 a.m. When it goes off, he hits snooze. He bargains for 9 more minutes of low-quality sleep. He starts his day with a failure. He starts his day by breaking a contract with himself. When he finally drags himself out of bed, what is the first thing he does? He picks up his phone, he opens his email, he checks social media. This is a fatal error. The moment he opens that inbox, he has surrendered his mind to the agenda of other people. An email is nothing more than a request for your time. A notification is nothing more than a demand for your attention. Before he has even brushed his teeth, the drifter is reacting. He is stressed about a problem at work. He is jealous of someone on Instagram. He is angry about a headline on the news. He hasn't even had coffee, and he has already lost the battle for his own mind. He is a leaf blowing in the wind. Now, look at the architect. Look at the person who understands the power of the 5 a.m. start. The architect wakes up. No snooze button. The alarm is the starting gun, and he explodes off the line. He does not check his phone. The phone is a tool, not a master, and it stays off.
Instead, he uses this time, this sacred, uninterrupted silence, to build his armor. He exercises, he reads, he plans, he meditates. By the time the sun comes up, by the time the drifter is just opening his eyes to hit snooze, the architect has already won. He has already sweated. He has already learned. He has already organized his objectives. He enters the day with momentum. He enters the day with a psychological edge that is impossible to fake. He knows he is ahead. He knows he has done more by 7 a.m. than most people do all day. Win the morning, win the war. You must understand that the morning is the rudder of the ship. If the rudder is crooked, the ship goes in circles. If the rudder is straight and locked in, the ship cuts through the waves. You have a choice. You can be the captain of the ship, or you can be a passenger on the Titanic. The excuse I hear constantly is, "I'm not a morning person." That is a lie. You are not a morning person because you stay up until midnight watching garbage TV and scrolling through a screen that destroys your dopamine receptors. You are not a night owl. You are undisciplined. You are trading your future for late-night entertainment that you won't even remember in a week. It's not about genetics. It's about discipline. Nobody is born waking up at 5 a.m. It is a trained behavior. It is a forged habit. Why 5 a.m.? Is there something magical about that specific number? Yes and no. The magic isn't the number. The magic is the solitude. At 5 a.m., nobody is calling you. Nobody is emailing you. The kids are asleep. The boss is asleep. The chaos of the world has not yet begun. This is the only time of day that is truly 100% yours. If you try to work out at 6 p.m., life gets in the way. You get stuck in traffic, you get a last-minute meeting, you are too tired. But at 5 a.m., there are no excuses. There is only you and the work. That's the key. You must become the architect of your day, not
the victim of it. So, what does the victory hour look like? It is not complex. It is 3 simple phases. Move, reflect, prepare. Phase 1, move. You must engage the body immediately. Do not sit down to read first. You are groggy. You need to spark the engine. Do 50 push-ups, go for a run, lift heavy iron. It doesn't matter what it is, but it must be physical. You need to spike your heart rate and tell your biology that we are in fight mode. Phase 2, reflect. Once the blood is flowing, feed the mind. Read 10 pages of a book that makes you smarter. Do not read the news. The news is designed to make you anxious. Read philosophy, read strategy, read history. Load your brain with high-value software before the virus of the world tries to infect it. Phase 3, prepare. Look at your list of non-negotiables. Look at your mission for the day. Visualize the obstacles you will face and how you will overcome them. When you walk out the door, you should already have lived the day in your head. You should already have the map. If you do this, you become bulletproof. When the chaos hits at 10 a.m., you are calm. Why? Because you have already won. You have already paid yourself first. Win the morning, win the war. People will tell you this is obsessive. They will say, you need your rest. You don't need their permission. You don't need their permission to go to bed at 9:30 p.m. so you can dominate the next day. You don't need their permission to leave the party early. They are operating on a different frequency. They are consumers. You are a producer. Consumers stay up late to consume content. Producers wake up early to create value. If you want to be average, follow the average schedule. Wake up at 7:30, rush to work, come home, watch TV, repeat. That is the recipe for a forgotten life. But if you want to be elite, you must steal time from the comfort zone. You have to understand the psychological devastation this inflicts on your competition. Imagine you are in a race. Imagine looking over at your opponent and realizing he has been running for 2 hours while you were still tying your shoes. That is what the 5 a.m. architect does. It breaks the will of the enemy. Every morning the alarm goes off, you are faced with the first test of the day. It is a binary test, pass or fail. If you hit snooze, you fail. You are telling yourself that your comfort is more important than your goals. You are starting the day with a loss. But if you get up, if you put your feet on the cold floor while the rest of the world is warm, you pass. You stack the first brick of the fortress. Win the morning, win the war. Stop negotiating with the pillow. The pillow is a liar. It promises comfort, but it delivers regret. Get up. Get moving. Get aggressive. Claim the morning. If you own the morning, you own the day. And if you own the day, you own your weeks. And if you own your weeks, you own your life. This is how you build the machine. But be warned, the excitement of the new routine will fade. The 5 a.m. alarm will stop feeling like a challenge and start feeling like a grind. The novelty will wear off, and you will be left with something that kills more dreams than failure ever could. Boredom. You have conquered the morning. Now you must conquer the monotony.
Chapter 5. Boredom is where weakness dies. The honeymoon is over. You have set your alarm. You have established your non-negotiables. You have pushed through the initial pain of the cold shower and the early wake-up call. For the first 2 weeks, you felt like a warrior. The adrenaline was high. The novelty was exciting. You felt like a new person. But now, the excitement is gone. Now the alarm goes off, and there is no adrenaline. There is only the gray reality of doing the exact same thing you did yesterday. and the day before that, and the day before that. Welcome to the grind. Welcome to the graveyard of ambition. This is the point where 99% of people quit. They quit not because it is too hard, but because it is too boring. They are dopamine junkies looking for the next fix, the next shiny object, the next hack. When the routine stops being fun, they assume something is wrong. They assume they need a new strategy. They are wrong. Fall in love with the plateau. Mastery is repetitive. You have been sold a lie by the movies. The movies show the montage. They show the hero training for 3 minutes to an upbeat song, cutting from the struggle immediately to the victory. They cut out the years of silence. They cut out the monotony. Real success is not a montage. Real success is agonizingly slow. Real success is boring. If you watch a master at work, it doesn't look like an action movie. It looks like a factory line. It looks like the same motion repeated 10,000 times with zero variation. You have a choice. You can be an amateur who chases the thrill of the start, or you can be a professional who respects the power of the repetition. The amateur is obsessed with variety. He changes his workout routine every month because he gets bored. He changes his business idea every 6 months because it wasn't exciting anymore. He is a tourist in the world of success. He visits, takes a picture, and leaves when the weather turns bad. The professional is obsessed with consistency. He does the same boring lifts for 20 years. He sells the same product for a decade. He writes the same code until it is elegant. He doesn't need to be entertained. He needs to be effective.
That's the key. You must kill your need for entertainment. Your routine is not there to amuse you. It is there to program you. Think about the Olympic swimmer. We see the gold medal. We see the glory. We see the 20 seconds of explosive power on national television. We see the interview where they smile and hold the flag. But what didn't we see? We didn't see the 4 years leading up to that 20-second race. We didn't see the 4 a.m. darkness. We didn't see the silence of the pool. For 4 years, that swimmer stared at a black line on the bottom of the pool, back and forth, millions of strokes. No music, no applause, no crowd. Just the water, the breath, and the black line. If that swimmer needed excitement to train, they would have quit in week 1. If they needed variety, they would have lost. They won because they embraced the boredom. They accepted that the path to the podium is paved with millions of identical, unglamorous repetitions. Fall in love with the plateau. Mastery is repetitive. The plateau is the phase where you are putting in the work, but seeing no visible results. It is the long, flat stretch of the journey. Most people panic on the plateau. They think, I'm working hard, but nothing is happening. I should change course. No, you should dig in. The plateau is where the weakness dies. The plateau is the filter. It is designed to weed out the people who don't want it bad enough. When you are on the plateau, you are banking potential energy. You are building the foundation that will support the skyscraper. If you cannot handle the boredom of the foundation, you do not deserve the view from the penthouse. It's not about entertainment.
It's about discipline. Stop looking for the fun way to succeed. Stop looking for the gamification of your life. Life is not a video game. There are no badges for showing up. You need to cultivate a monk-like patience. Look at the samurai practicing a sword strike. He does not try to learn 1,000 different fancy moves. He practices one cut. He practices it until he can do it in his sleep. He practices it until the sword is an extension of his soul. He's not bored, he is focused.
There is a difference between boredom and focus. Boredom is a lack of attention. Focus is a depth of attention. When you are doing your reps, when you are making your calls, when you are writing your words, do not zone out. Zone in. Go deeper into the nuance. Find the fascination in the details. If you are bored, it means you are not paying close enough attention. You don't need their permission. You don't need society's permission to be boring. In fact, you should wear it as a badge of honor. Your friends will ask you to come out and party. They will say, "Live a little, you're always working, you're so boring." Let them talk. While they are out living a little, which usually means spending money they don't have and destroying their health, you are building an empire. You are building a physique. You are building a mind. Let them have the excitement of the weekend. You will have the excitement of the decade. The man who can sit in a room alone and do the work without distraction is the most dangerous man on earth. He cannot be stopped because he cannot be bored. He does not need external stimulation to function. He generates his own drive. Fall in love with the plateau. Mastery is repetitive. Examine your routine right now. Are you constantly tweaking it? Are you looking for a new app, a new journal, a new diet? Stop it. Pick a path and walk it until the concrete cracks under your feet. Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Be the man with one kick. This requires you to suppress your ego. Your ego wants to be recognized. Your ego wants to do flashy things that get likes on social media. Posting a video of yourself doing the basics isn't viral content. It's boring. But viral content doesn't build character. Repetition builds character. Every time you sit down to do the work and you feel that heavy, dull sensation of boredom, I want you to smile. That feeling is the feeling of your competition quitting. That feeling is the sound of you leaving them behind. Stay on the black line. Keep swimming. Do not look up. Do not look around. Just execute the stroke. Fall in love with the plateau. Mastery is repetitive. Once you accept that boredom is the price of admission, you stop fighting it. You settle into the rhythm. You become a machine. And machines are efficient. Machines do not waste energy on feelings. Machines do not waste energy on deciding what to do next because they are programmed. But humans waste incredible amounts of energy on small, stupid choices. You have mastered the repetition. Now, you must master the efficiency of your mind. You must stop leaking energy on things that do not matter so you can pour all of it into the things that do. We are going to eliminate the clutter.
Chapter 6. Decision fatigue is a myth for the lazy. You are exhausted by 2 p.m. You haven't dug a ditch. You haven't run a marathon. You haven't fought a physical battle. Yet your brain feels like mush. You stare at your computer screen, unable to focus. You snap at your spouse. You skip the gym because you just don't have the energy. Why? Because you are bleeding energy. You are leaking your vital life force on things that do not matter. You are suffering from a self-inflicted wound called decision fatigue. But let me be clear. Arguing that you are too tired to work because you had to make decisions is an excuse. It is a myth for the lazy. The elite do not suffer from decision fatigue because they do not make stupid decisions. They remove them. Your brain is a battery. When you wake up, that battery is at 100%. Every single time you make a choice, you drain a percentage. What should I wear today? Drain. What should I have for breakfast? Drain. Which route should I drive to work? Drain. Should I answer this email now or later? Drain. What do I want for lunch? Drain. By the time you actually sit down to do the work that builds your empire, the deep work, the creative work, the heavy lifting, your battery is at 40%. You have wasted your best energy on trivia. You have spent your cognitive currency on oatmeal and socks. This is strategic suicide. You have a choice. You can continue to spend your mental energy like a drunk sailor in a casino, wasting it on cheap slot machines, or you can save your capital for the high-stakes table. To win, you must become a minimalist of the mind. Automate to dominate. Eliminate the choice. Look at the giants of history. Look at the people who actually changed the world. Steve Jobs. Why did he wear a black turtleneck, blue jeans, and New Balance sneakers every single day? Was it because he loved fashion? No. Was it because he couldn't afford other clothes? Obviously not. He did it because he refused to waste a single neuron on the question, what should I wear? Look at Barack Obama during his presidency. He only wore gray or blue suits. He said, I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing. I have too many other decisions to make. These men understood the economy of the mind. They knew that willpower is a finite resource. If you use your willpower to decide between a bagel and eggs, you have less willpower available to decide between war and peace, or between launching a product and killing it. That's the key. You are not Steve Jobs. You are not the president. But the biology of your brain is exactly the same. If you want to operate at a high level, you must treat your attention like a loaded weapon. You do not fire it at random targets. You save the ammo for the kill shot. Most of you are firing blank rounds at your wardrobe every morning. You stand in your closet for 5 minutes, staring at shirts, wondering which one matches your mood. You stand in the grocery store aisle for 10 minutes comparing 2 brands of pasta sauce. You scroll through Netflix for 45 minutes trying to pick a movie, and by the time you pick one, you're too tired to watch it. This is weakness. This is a lack of protocol. Automate to dominate. Eliminate the choice. You need to ruthlessly systemize the mundane aspects of your life. If a decision does not make you money, make you stronger, or make you smarter, it should be automated. Start with your food. Why are you asking yourself what you want for lunch every day at noon? That is a disaster waiting to happen. At noon, you are hungry, your blood sugar is dropping, your discipline is low. If you have to make a choice in that moment, you will choose the pizza, you will choose the burger. You have a choice. You can be a slave to your appetite, or you can be a master of your fuel. Decide once. On Sunday, you decide, I eat chicken and rice for lunch every day this week. You prep it, you pack it. Now, when Tuesday comes and the clock strikes 12, there is no decision. There is no debate. There is no drain on your battery. You simply eat the fuel. You have eliminated the variable. It's not about variety. It's about discipline. People will whine, but I want variety. I get bored eating the same thing.
We already talked about boredom. Boredom is the tax you pay for excellence. If you need your lunch to entertain you, your life is too empty. Your food is fuel. Your clothes are a uniform. Your schedule is a grid.
Automate to dominate. Eliminate the choice. Let's talk about your wardrobe. Go to your closet. Look at the clutter. Look at the shirts you haven't worn in 2 years. Look at the pants that don't fit. This is visual noise. Every time you see them, your brain has to process them. Simplify. Create a uniform. Buy 10 of the same black t-shirts. Buy 5 pairs of the same jeans. Remove the friction. When you wake up, you grab the shirt on top. Done. In 3 seconds, you're dressed and your brain is still at 100% power, ready to attack the real objectives of the day. You don't need their permission. You don't need permission to wear the same outfit twice in a row. You don't need permission to be unfashionable. Let the sheep worry about the trends. The sheep are broke. The sheep are tired. The sheep are anxious. You are a predator. You are streamlined for the hunt. Now look at your schedule. The amateur wakes up and asks, "What should I do today?" The professional wakes up and looks at the calendar. The decision of what to do should never happen on the day of execution. It should happen the night before. This is the rule. Never plan and execute at the same time. Planning is a different brain function than executing. If you try to do both at once, you will stall. You will hesitate. Before you sleep, you write down the 3 mission-critical tasks for tomorrow. You time block them. At 9 a.m., I write the report. At 11 a.m., I call the client. When you wake up, you are a robot. You do not think. You execute the code you wrote last night. Automate to dominate. Eliminate the choice. When you remove these micro-choices, you will feel a surge of power. It will feel like you suddenly have extra hours in the day. You don't have more time, you have more clarity. The fog lifts. You will notice that you are less irritable in the evenings. You will notice that you have the willpower to say no to the dessert, to the drink, to the distraction. Why? Because your battery is still full. You didn't waste it on the small stuff. Success is a game of resource management. The most precious resource you have is not money, it is not time, it is cognitive load. Protect it with your life. Every decision you automate is a deposit into your bank account of willpower. Automatic bill pay, subscription deliveries for household goods, the same workout routine every Monday, the same breakfast every morning. Boring? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. It's not about spontaneity, it's about discipline. Spontaneity is for vacations. Spontaneity is for the weekend. During the week, during the war, you need predictability. Predictability breeds speed. Speed breeds results. If you are constantly reinventing the wheel every morning, you will never get the car out of the driveway. Stop trying to be creative with your routine. Be creative with your work. Be creative with your problem solving, but let your routine be as rigid and mechanical as a Swiss watch. Automate to dominate. Eliminate the choice. Do this audit today. Where are you leaking energy? Are you wasting 10 minutes looking for your keys? Put a bowl by the door. Automate the placement. Are you wasting 20 minutes deciding what workout to do? Hire a coach or buy a program. Automate the programming. Stop thinking so much. Thinking is expensive. Action is cheap. You want to be a high performer? Stop making decisions. Set the rules, set the defaults, and let the system run itself. You have now streamlined your internal operating system. You have stopped the energy leaks inside your own mind. You have automated your behavior. But there is still a threat that exists outside of you. You can have the most disciplined mind in the world, but if you are standing in the middle of a circus, you will eventually be distracted. We have fixed the software. Now we must fix the hardware. We must sanitize the physical space around you.
Chapter 7.
Your environment is your destiny. You think you are strong. You think you have an iron will. You think that if you just focus hard enough, you can resist any temptation and overcome any distraction. You are wrong. You are lying to yourself. I don't care how disciplined you are. I don't care how much David Goggins you listen to. If you put a recovering alcoholic in a bar, eventually he will drink. If you put a dieter in a bakery, eventually he will eat. If you put a focused worker in a room full of notifications, eventually he will break. Willpower is a battery. It drains. Every moment you spend resisting a distraction, you are burning energy. And when that battery runs dry, usually by the afternoon, your biology takes over. You revert to the path of least resistance. Your environment, however, is not a battery. Your environment is constant. It never gets tired. It never sleeps. It is relentless. If your environment is designed to distract you, you will lose. You might win the battle today, and maybe tomorrow, but over a long enough timeline, the environment always wins. You have a choice. You can spend your life fighting a war against your surroundings, wasting precious energy on resistance, or you can change the surroundings. You can rig the game so that winning is easy and losing is difficult. Clear the path. Design the default. We have spoken about friction in previous chapters, about seeking friction to build toughness. Now we flip the script. When it comes to your execution, you must ruthlessly eliminate friction. You want to do the work? Make the work the easiest thing to do. You want to stop the bad habit? Make the bad habit impossible to do. Let's look at the diet example. It is the simplest proof of this concept. You say you want to quit sugar, but you have a bag of cookies in the cupboard. You tell yourself, I just won't eat them. I'll use my willpower. This is stupidity. Every time you walk into the kitchen, you see the cupboard. Your brain registers the cookies. You have to make a conscious decision not to eat them. That is a tax on your mind. Eventually, you will have a bad day. You will be stressed. Your defenses will be down, and because the cookies are there, because the path is clear, you will eat them. Now, imagine you threw them in the trash. Imagine you poured water on them so they were ruined. Now, when you have that bad day, you walk into the kitchen, you want the sugar, but it is not there. To get it, you would have to put on your shoes, find your keys, get in the car, drive to the store, and buy more.
That is too much friction. You won't do it. You will eat an apple instead. You stayed on track not because you were strong, but because you were smart. Clear the path. Design the default. The default option is what happens when you do nothing. In the first scenario, the default was eating the cookie. In the second scenario, the default was staying clean. You must apply this to your workspace. Most of you are trying to build an empire from a desk that looks like a landfill. You have stacks of unpaid bills, 3 coffee cups, random sticky notes, and your phone sitting right next to your laptop. This is a distraction zone. Your eyes are constantly darting around, processing visual clutter. Your phone lights up and you check it. You are not working, you are reacting. You need to build a kill zone. A kill zone is a space dedicated to one thing: execution. It is sterile, it is cold, it is minimal. When you sit in the kill zone, there is nothing else to do but the work. That's the key. If you want to write a book, Your desk should have a laptop and a glass of water. Nothing else. No books, no phone, no bills. When you sit down, writing becomes the path of least resistance because there is literally nothing else to look at. Let's talk about the phone. The phone is the enemy. If your phone is within arm's reach while you are trying to do deep work, you have already failed. But I have it on silent, you say. But I turned it face down. It doesn't matter. Your brain knows it is there. Subconsciously, you are waiting for it to buzz. You are anticipating the dopamine hit. You are splitting your focus. It's not about notification settings, it's about discipline. Take the phone. Put it in another room. Put it on a high shelf. Lock it in a drawer. Create physical distance. Make it so that checking your phone requires you to stand up and walk. You will be amazed at how much your focus deepens when the option to be distracted is physically removed.
Clear the path. Design the default. You are an architect. You are designing the blueprint of your behavior. If you want to go to the gym in the morning, do not rely on your morning motivation. Motivation is groggy at 5 a.m. Rely on your environment. Pack your bag the night before. Put your shoes right next to the bed. Put your alarm clock across the room so you have to stand up to turn it off. You are clearing the path to the door. You are removing the friction of looking for your socks. You are making the workout the default setting of your morning. You don't need their permission. Your family might think you are obsessive. They might ask why the house is so sparse, why you throw away junk food, why you lock your phone away. They live in the clutter. They love the clutter because the clutter gives them excuses. I couldn't work because I was distracted. I couldn't diet because there was cake. The clutter is their shield against responsibility. You do not need that shield. You want results. Clear the path, design the default. This applies to the people around you as well. Your environment is not just furniture, it is flesh and blood. If you are surrounded by people who complain, people who are lazy, people who are cynical, that is environmental pollution. You are breathing in their toxic exhaust. You cannot be an eagle if you're hanging out in a coop full of turkeys. If you can't physically remove these people from your life, you must mentally quarantine them. Put on your headphones, close your door. Do not engage in their pity parties. Do not engage in their gossip. Control what enters your ears just as strictly as you control what enters your mouth. Clear the path. Design the default. Look around you right now. Look at the room you are in. Is this room designed for success, or is it designed for comfort? Is it designed for focus, or is it designed for consumption? If there is a TV in your workspace, you are wrong. If there is a customized, comfortable chair that encourages you to nap, you are wrong. If there are snacks on the desk, you are wrong. Fix it. Throw it out. Move it. Clean it. A clear space equals a clear mind. A messy space equals a chaotic mind. You cannot produce high-level output from a low-level environment. It is physics. Clear the path. Design the default. Start treating your environment as a weapon. Sharpen it. Aim it. When you walk into your kill zone, your body should instantly know what time it is. It is not time to scroll. It is not time to snack. It is time to hunt. By designing the default, you protect yourself from your own weakness. You protect yourself from the days when you are tired and unmotivated.
Even on your worst day, if the environment is set up correctly, you will stumble into productivity. You will accidentally do the right thing because it is the only thing available. This is how you ensure consistency. This is how you stop the up and down cycle of the amateur. And consistency? Consistency is the holy grail. You have mastered your mind. You have mastered your time. You have mastered your space. Now there is only one rule left to keep the machine running forever. A rule that ensures you never slide back into the pit.
Chapter 8. The Law of 0 Days. Momentum is everything. In physics, Sir Isaac Newton taught us the first law of motion. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. This is not just a rule for falling apples or planets in orbit. This is the fundamental rule of your life. Getting started is hard. It requires a massive burst of energy to overcome the friction of static existence. It takes brute force to move a stationary car, but once that car is rolling, it takes a fraction of the energy to keep it moving. Most of you are exhausted because you are constantly starting and stopping. You work hard for 3 days, then you take 2 days off. Then on Monday, you have to summon all that energy again to restart the engine. You are burning yourself out on the launch. To become unbreakable, you must never let the engine go cold. You must never let the car come to a complete stop. This brings us to the most critical rule of consistency, the law of 0 days. A 0 day is a day where you do absolutely nothing to advance your goal. It is a day where the score is you 0, resistance 1. You are never allowed to have a 0 day, ever. Protect the streak. No 0 days. I don't care if you were sick. I don't care if you were traveling. I don't care if your house flooded. You do something. Now, let's be realistic. I am not telling you that you must run 10 miles with the flu. I am not telling you that you must work 12 hours on your business on the day of a funeral. That is not discipline, that is stupidity. But there is a difference between rest and 0. A planned rest day is part of the program. Recovery is an action. If you are an athlete and Sunday is your recovery day, that is not a 0 day. You are stretching, you are eating right, you are sleeping, you are actively recovering. A 0 day is when you neglect the mission. A 0 day is when you let the chaos of life push your goals off the table entirely. You have a choice. You can let the circumstances dictate your actions, or you can dictate the terms of your engagement. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians in history, used a simple strategy to become a master. He had a big wall calendar. Every day that he wrote a joke, even just one joke, he would take a red marker and put a big X on that day. After a few days, he had a chain, X, 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 X. His only goal was not to write a funny joke. His only goal was, don't break the chain. That visual chain is your lifeline. When you see 20 X's in a row, you develop a psychological need to see the 21st X. You become protective of it. You become obsessed with it. Protect the streak. No 0 days.
Here is where the amateur fails. The amateur falls into the all-or-nothing trap. The amateur thinks, well, I don't have time to go to the gym for an hour, so I just won't go at all. I don't have time to write a whole chapter, so I won't write anything. This is loser thinking. This is the ego trying to sabotage you. The ego says, if it can't be perfect, it shouldn't exist. Destroy that thought. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. If you cannot do the maximum, you must do the minimum. But you must do something. If you can't run 5 miles, run around the block. If you can't run around the block, walk to the mailbox. If you can't walk to the mailbox, do 10 squats in your living room. Do not let the day end with a 0. Why does this matter? Why does one push-up matter? Physically, one push-up does nothing. It will not build muscle. It will not burn fat. But psychologically, it saves your life. When you do that one push-up on your worst day, you are keeping the neural pathway open. You are reaffirming your identity. You are saying to yourself, I am the type of person who does not quit. Even when I am sick, even when I am tired, I show up. That's the key. You are maintaining the habit loop. If you skip a day completely, you break the seal. The next day, it becomes easier to skip again. And the day after that, the habit is gone. When you do the non-negotiable minimum, that one sentence, that one sales call, that 1 minute of meditation, you are keeping the momentum alive. You are keeping the car rolling at 1 mile per hour, and it is infinitely easier to accelerate from 1 mile per hour than it is to start from a dead stop. Protect the streak. No 0 days. This requires you to swallow your pride. It feels silly to go to the gym for 10 minutes. It feels pointless to read 1 page of a book. You don't need their permission.
You don't need the other people at the gym to validate your workout. They don't know your war. They don't know you are keeping a streak alive. Let them judge. You are playing a long game. You are compounding interest. Imagine a graph of your progress. A 0 day is not just a flat line. It is a dip. It is a regression. When you refuse the 0 day, you build a fortress of evidence that proves you are undeniable. Think about the confidence you will have when you look at your calendar and see 365 X's in a row. No gaps, no excuses, just a solid wall of execution. Do you think a person with that calendar suffers from imposter syndrome? No. They know exactly who they are. They are a machine of consistency. Protect the streak. No 0 days. So, what do you do when the world falls apart? You have a crisis at work. You get home at 11:30 p.m. You are exhausted. You haven't done your reading. You haven't done your workout. The old you would say, I'll double up tomorrow. The new you says, no 0 days. You drop to the floor in your suit and you do 20 push-ups. You pick up the book and read 1 paragraph. You close your eyes and meditate for 60 seconds. Check the box, mark the X, go to sleep. You won. It wasn't a pretty victory. It wasn't a glorious victory. But it was a victory. You kept the demon at bay. You kept the momentum. It's not about intensity. It's about discipline. Intensity is flashy. Consistency is lethal. The water that cuts through the rock does not do it because of its power. It does it because of its persistence. Be the water. Start your calendar today. Not tomorrow, today. Go buy a marker, put a calendar on the wall, and before you go to sleep tonight, earn your X. Once you start the chain, guard it with your life. Because the moment you break the chain, you allow the possibility of failure to re-enter your mind. You allow the maybe back in. We killed maybe in chapter 2. Do not resurrect it. Protect the streak. No 0 days. When you live by this law, you remove the question of if. You only deal with the question of how much. Some days you give 100%. Some days you have only 10% to give. Give the 10%. That is fine. Just do not give 0. 0 is the number of the void. 0 is the number of the quitter. You are not a quitter. You are a creator of momentum. But listen to me closely. As you push this streak, as you stack these days, your body and mind will begin to push back. You will feel pain. You will feel stress. You will feel the urge to stop not because you are lazy, but because you hurt. You need to learn how to interpret that signal. Most people feel pain and think, stop. The elite feel pain and think, growth.
We need to rewire your relationship with suffering.
Chapter 9. Pain is information, not a stop sign. Pain is the great filter. Pain is the reason most people will never achieve their dreams. They want the result, but they are terrified of the sensation required to get it. They want the physique, but they don't want the burn. They want the business, but they don't want the stress. They want the mastery, but they don't want the headache. As soon as they feel discomfort, they stop. They believe that pain is a signal that something is wrong. They believe that pain is a red light telling them to turn back. They are wrong. Pain is not a stop sign. Pain is information. Pain is simply a notification from your nervous system telling you that you have entered new territory. It is a sign that you are pushing against a boundary. And boundaries are meant to be broken. Callous your mind. Pain is just a sensation. You must understand the deception of the human brain. Your brain has one primary job: survival. It wants to keep you alive, safe, and flush with energy reserves. It does not care about your success. It does not care about your glory. It only cares that you don't die. So, what does it do? It installs a governor. Just like a car has a governor to limit its top speed, your brain has a governor to limit your effort. When you are running and you feel like you are dying, when your lungs are burning and your legs are heavy, your brain starts screaming. It induces panic. It tells you, "We are done. We have nothing left. Stop now or we will die." This is a lie. This is the 40% rule. When your brain tells you that you are completely empty, you are actually only at about 40% of your true physical capacity. Your brain is sending the pain signal early to preserve the remaining 60%, just in case you need to run from a lion or fight for your life. But there is no lion. There is only the workout. There is only the project. You have a choice. You can listen to the panic and quit, staying safe within the 40%. Or you can call the brain's bluff. You can push past that invisible wall. When you push past that wall, you enter a zone that very few people ever see. It is the zone of the second wind. It is where the body realizes you are not stopping, so it unlocks the reserve fuel tanks. That's the key. You will never find those reserve tanks if you stop at the first sign of discomfort. You have to be willing to suffer to find out what you're actually made of. Look at the Navy SEALs. Look at Hell Week. For 5.5 days, these men run, swim, carry logs, and roll in the sand. They sleep for a total of 4 hours in an entire week. They are cold, wet, and miserable. Physically, almost every man who starts Hell Week is capable of finishing it. They are all athletes. They are all strong. Yet, 75% of them quit. They ring the bell. Why? Because they listened to the pain. They let the sensation of cold and exhaustion convince them that it was impossible to continue. They focused on the suffering. The ones who pass? They feel the exact same cold. They feel the exact same pain, but they interpret it differently. They view the pain as the price of admission. They view the cold as a cleansing fire. They don't look at the whole week. They look at the next step. They say, "I am not dead yet. I can take one more step." Callous your mind. Pain is just a sensation. You need to change your definition of pain. Stop calling it suffering. Call it calibrating. When you are sitting at your desk at 2 a.m., eyes blurring, trying to finish the work, that is not suffering. That is your mind expanding. That is your discipline hardening. If you run from that feeling, you remain soft. David Goggins talks about callousing the mind. Think about your hands. If you lift heavy weights, your hands get blisters. It hurts. If you quit,
The blisters heal and your hands stay soft. But if you keep lifting, the blisters turn into calluses. The skin becomes hard. It becomes armor. Eventually, you can lift the heavy weight and you don't feel a thing. Your mind works the same way. The first time you force yourself to work through fatigue, it is agony. The 10th time, it is annoying. The 100th time, it is just Tuesday. Callous your mind. Pain is just a sensation. You need to seek out the things that hurt. You need to find the tasks that make your brain whine. It's not about masochism, it's about discipline. It is about proving to yourself who is in charge. Are you the master, or is the governor the master? When that voice in your head says, "This is too hard," you need to have an automatic response. You need to say, "This is supposed to be hard. That is why I'm doing it."
Most people spend their lives avoiding the burn. They take the elevator. They turn up the AC. They quit the job when the boss is mean. They break up when the relationship gets tricky. They are terrified of discomfort. And because they avoid the fire, they never turn into steel. They remain iron ore, full of potential, but weak and brittle. You don't need their permission. The world will tell you to take a break. They will say, "Don't burn out. Listen to your body." Listening to your body is dangerous advice if your body is lazy. Your body wants to be fat and happy. Your body wants to sleep. Do not listen to your body. Listen to your mission. If the mission demands you stay up, you stay up. If the mission demands you run, you run. Pain is just data. It is a neutral signal traveling from your nerves to your brain. You are the one who attaches the story to it. You are the one who labels it bad. Try this. The next time you are in physical distress, maybe in a cold shower or at the end of a sprint, detach from the emotion. Don't think, "This hurts." Think, "I am sensing intense cold. I am sensing lactic acid." Observe it objectively. When you strip away the emotional reaction, the pain loses its power over you. It just becomes a sensation. A loud sensation, but just a sensation. Callous your mind. Pain is just a sensation. This is how you become dangerous. A person who is not afraid of pain cannot be manipulated. They cannot be coerced. They cannot be stopped. If your competitor stops when they get tired and you stop when you are done, you win every time. It is simple math. The person with the higher pain tolerance gathers the most resources.
But you have to practice this. You cannot just switch it on during a crisis. You have to practice it in the gym. You have to practice it in the cold. You have to practice it in the silence. Every time you want to quit and you don't, you add a layer of armor to your mind. That's the key. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. When the storm comes, and it will come, the people who built their houses out of straw will be blown away. They will crumble because they never tested their structure. You are building a house of stone. You are testing it every day. You are hammering against the walls to see if they hold. The pain you feel today is the strength you will feel tomorrow. So welcome the grind. Welcome the headache. Welcome the soreness. It means you are alive. It means you are in the game. It means you are climbing the mountain while everyone else is picnicking in the valley. Callous your mind. Pain is just a sensation. You have learned to ignore the feelings. You have learned to kill the comfort zone. You have learned to reframe pain as fuel. You are now operating at a level that 99% of the population will never understand. But there is one final trap, one final mistake that the ambitious make.
They think there is a finish line. They think that one day they will make it and then they can stop. They think that discipline is a vehicle to get a reward, and once they get the reward, they can get off the ride. If you believe that, you have missed the entire point. There is no finish line. The trophy is dust. The money is just paper. We need to understand the ultimate truth of the unbreakable routine.
Chapter 10. The routine is the reward.
You are waiting for the confetti. You are waiting for the finish line. You are waiting for the moment when the announcer calls your name, the crowd cheers, and you are handed the giant check. You believe that all this suffering, all these early mornings, and all this discipline is just a toll you have to pay to get to the good life. You think that once you get the $1 million, you can stop. You think that once you get the six-pack abs, you can eat pizza. You think that once you get the promotion, you can relax. If that is your mindset, you have already lost. You are chasing a ghost. Let me tell you the harsh truth about making it. The moment you achieve a goal, the satisfaction lasts for about 20 minutes, maybe a day. Then the feeling fades. You are left standing on the top of the mountain, looking around and realizing that the view is nice, but you are still you. If you are doing this for the trophy, you will be miserable. Trophies gather dust. Money gets spent. Glory is forgotten. The work is the prize. The discipline is the destination. This is the final shift. This is the difference between a person who succeeds once and a person who stays successful forever. The amateur treats discipline like a vehicle. He uses it to drive from point A, poverty/obscurity, to point B, wealth/fame. Once he arrives at point B, he gets out of the car. He stops doing the things that got him there, and inevitably, he slides back to point A. The master understands that discipline is not the vehicle. Discipline is the road. There is no destination. The road goes on forever. You have a choice. You can be a tourist who is just visiting success, or you can be a resident who lives in the house of excellence. Look at the billionaires of the world. Look at the titans of industry. Many of them are 70, 80 years old. They have more money than they could spend in 1,000 lifetimes. They have the houses, the jets, the islands. They could sit on a beach and drink margaritas for the rest of their days. But they don't. They wake up at 5 a.m. They take the meetings. They build the companies. They solve the hard problems. They work 14 hours a day. Why? Are they greedy? Are they insane? No. They simply understand the secret. They understand that the money is just a scorecard. It's a byproduct. The real juice, the real reason they are alive is the process of building. They are addicted to the person they have to become to solve those problems.
If you took away their money, they would still be the same person. They would still have the same work ethic. They would still have the same fire. And because of that, they would get the money back in a few years. But if you take away the money from a lottery winner, someone who didn't earn it, someone who didn't have the routine, they end up broke and broken. It's not about the assets, it's about the discipline. Your character is the only permanent asset you own. The economy can crash. A fire can burn down your house. A lawsuit can take your savings. The world can take everything you have, but it cannot take what you are. If you have forged an unbreakable routine, you are safe. You can be dropped in the middle of nowhere with nothing, and within a year, you will be leading. You will be building. You will be winning. Why? Because the machine is internal.
The work is the prize. The discipline is the destination. Stop asking, when does it get easier? It doesn't. And you shouldn't want it to. Asking for it to get easier is asking for you to become weaker. You want the load to remain heavy so that your back remains strong. When you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do it, and you do it anyway, that is the victory. Not the result of the work, but the act of the work. Every time you execute your routine, you are casting a vote for your identity. You are confirming to the universe, I am a person of value. I am a person of substance. That feeling, that quiet, steel-plated confidence, is better than any car you can buy. It is better than any applause. That's the key. We live in a transaction-obsessed society. We are taught to only do things if there is a clear, immediate payoff. If I work this hour, I get paid this much. You must rise above the transaction. You must fall in love with the grind itself. You must learn to love the cold water. You must learn to love the silence of the early morning. You must learn to love the feeling of your brain straining against a problem.
When you love the difficulty, you become untouchable. Because the world cannot threaten you with hard work. You welcome hard work. You eat hard work for breakfast. The work is the prize. The discipline is the destination. Imagine you are a sculptor. You are chipping away at a block of marble. The chips are flying. It is hard labor. The amateur is obsessed with the statue he is trying to make. He is frustrated that it isn't finished yet. He rushes. He makes mistakes. The master is obsessed with the strike of the chisel. He loves the angle. He loves the precision. He finds joy in the swing of the hammer. And because he loves the swing, the statue turns out to be a masterpiece. Your life is the block of marble. Your habits are the chisel. If you are only focused on the finished product, you will cut corners. You will compromise. But if you focus on the integrity of every single strike, every single workout, every single email, every single interaction, the masterpiece is inevitable. You don't need their permission. You don't need the world to validate your statue. You don't need the likes. You don't need the awards. The validation comes from the mirror. Can you look yourself in the eye at the end of the day and say, I did not compromise? Can you look in the mirror and say, I gave everything? If the answer is yes, you have won. Even if your bank account is empty, you have won, because the bank account will eventually catch up to the character. It always does. The work is the prize. The discipline is the destination. This is a liberating realization. It frees you from anxiety. If the result doesn't matter as much as the routine, then you don't have to worry about failure. You can't fail. As long as you show up and execute the protocol, you are succeeding. The external world is chaotic. Markets crash, pandemics happen, trends change. You cannot control the outcome, but you can control the input. You can control the routine. So stop looking at the horizon. Look at your feet. Look at the step you are taking right now. Take it with power. Take it with precision. Then take the next one, and the next one. Don't ask, are we there yet? We are never there. There is a myth. There is only here. There is only the work you are doing in this second.
Make it count. The work is the prize. The discipline is the destination. You have built the machine. You have destroyed the excuses. You have hardened your mind. You have optimized your environment. You have accepted the pain, and you have realized that the journey is the goal. There is nothing left to learn. There is only things left to do. The theory is finished. The execution begins. Do not close this book and think you have accomplished something. You have accomplished nothing. You have simply read a map. Reading a map does not transport you to the destination. You have to walk. The time of listening is over. The time of action is upon you.
We have reached the end of the explanation, but we are only at the beginning of the execution. You now have the blueprint. You know that feelings are liars. You know that negotiation is weakness. You know that the routine is your armor against a chaotic world. Do not close this audiobook and go back to your old life. Do not tell yourself you will start on Monday. Monday is a myth for the procrastination of the weak. There is only now. There is only the next decision. Structure your day. Lock the door on distractions. Embrace the boredom. Love the pain. Become undeniable. The world does not care about your potential, it only respects your results, and your results are hidden inside your daily habits. Go build your fortress. Go execute the routine. Start right now.